Ukrainian drone operators recorded a Russian armored column driving toward Ukrainian armed forces positions under punishing artillery fire and getting destroyed. Russian forces attacking in Ukraine's eastern Avdiivka sector have shifted to massed infantry assaults following heavy, widely confirmed losses last week in tanks and armored personnel carriers, multiple sources reported. Vitaly Barabash, head of the Avdiivka city administration, during a live feed on national television on Sunday evening, said that Kremlin troops had not stopped repeated attempts to gain ground on the battlefield on the outskirts of the Russia-occupied city of Donetsk, but they were running out of tanks and infantry fighting vehicles. Defending Ukrainian infantry was under severe pressure, but holding and hitting Russian attacks hard with drone-controlled artillery strikes and crew-served weapons, Barabash said. A video recorded Friday showed the kind of damage Ukrainian forces have been inflicting on the Russians. The video shows at least 14 Russian armored vehicles apparently forced to drive in single file to pass through minefields behind a mine-clearing tank, attempting to make their way through high explosive and cluster munition strikes. The majority of the force is BTRs, Soviet and post-Soviet military armored personnel carriers. Half are shown to be knocked out or disabled and smoking at the end of the attack, and Ukrainian positions seem intact. A close-up in the 2-minute edited video shows at least 5 Russian infantrymen jumping off a BTR near Ukrainian positions. A Ukrainian anti-tank rocket fired at close range hits the BTR in seconds. Ukrainian military journalist Yuri Butusov on Monday reported that concerted Russian attacks over the past 2 weeks in the Avdiivka sector, in attempted pincer attacks to the west of the city, had gained about 1.5 kilometers, nearly a mile of ground, in a salient about 1 kilometer wide, 0.6 miles. The Russian offensive had stalled at the foot of a mining slag heap some 50 meters, 164 feet, tall to Avdiivka's north, he reported. Russian ground troops were attempting to dig in at the foot of the slag heap under extremely heavy Ukrainian artillery fire and trying to reinforce the toehold with more infantry riding trucks or advancing on foot, Ukrainian media reported. Kremlin forces had by Sunday stopped trying to advance aboard armored vehicles, likely due to very heavy equipment losses suffered over the past week, Butusov said. Russian infantry losses were mounting under continuous Ukrainian artillery fire, he said. Terrain around Avdiivka is relatively open with little cover for large military units to hide, particularly from observation drones. Continuing, intense fighting in the sector has produced a recent flood of Ukrainian drone video of Russian armored vehicles out in the open, on the Avdiivka battlefield, and being destroyed in catastrophic explosions. According to Ukrainian army statements generally confirmed by Russian military bloggers, the Kremlin on October 10th launched a substantial ground offensive in the Avdiivka sector, with the objective of capturing Ukrainian fortifications in the area by surrounding them with armored attacks from the north and the south. The offensive has, according to reports, proved to be one of the most ambitious Russian ground operations of 2023. Ukrainian military intelligence has, reportedly, identified at least 8 major brigade-sized combined arms formations delegated to the offensive, including a Spetsnaz Special Operations Brigade, all under the command of Russia's 1st Combined Arms Corps. Ukrainian military analysts generally estimate the Russian High Command has committed between 300, 600 armored vehicles and at least 10,000 men towards Avdiivka's capture. The last time Moscow attempted a major conventional arms assault in Ukraine, in February 2023, a tank and infantry formation about half that size was cut to pieces attacking Ukrainian infantry and artillery deeply dug in around the town of Vuhledar. Ukrainian defenses around Avdiivka, the site of the latest Russian offensive push, were first constructed in 2014 to 15 and are counted to be the deepest and strongest fortifications on the entire front. Ukrainian media has identified 4 formations as primarily responsible for defending Avdiivka: the 53rd and 110th Mechanized Brigades, and the 116th and 129th Territorial Defense Brigades. The 53rd is a veteran unit originally raised in Ukraine's western Rivne region in 2014 to repel Russia's first invasion of Ukraine. The 110th is a new brigade formed in early 2023, in part with soldiers trained by NATO instructors. Manpower for the 116th and 129th is drawn respectively from Poltava and Kryvyi Rih residents volunteering for local defense forces. Most of Ukraine's territorial defense brigades send contingents from home-based territories to the Eastern Front to back up regular troops. Russian losses around Avdiivka over the past 3 weeks have been heavy and by some accounts horrific. Most independent estimates place total Russian armored vehicle losses since October 10th in the sector at around 200 tanks and infantry fighting vehicles. Ukrainian army kill claims are almost twice that. Butusov reported Kiev's forces were holding under the Russian onslaught, but tiring. Our soldiers are tired from long battles. The Russians also hope that the Ukrainians will get tired of killing them. The defenders of Avdiivka need to be replenished and strengthened in order to be able to gradually give rest to the soldiers during 23 days of continuous combat. The Washington-based Institute for the Study of War in a Monday morning situation estimate predicted Russian attacks at Avdiivka were likely to continue. 24 Russian soldiers from the 12th Guards Regiment were transferred to another unit due to their refusal to go into an assault without documents. This is an older video from spring when the men had issues with supply, which they were afraid to publish. The same men refused to assault recently and were locked up in a basement, then moved between cities and attached to a different military unit. They believe the command is now taking its time to slow down the process that will see them properly trialed to enable sending them into another meat assault before anyone can understand what is going on. Glory to Russia!
Уважаемый Верховный Главнокомандующий Путин Владимир Владимирович, мы, военнослужащие войсковой части 31985, 12-й танковый полк, отряд «Шторм», преимущественно мобилизованные и добровольцы, прибывшие из Москвы, Московской области и других регионов. Обращаемся к вам, чтобы разобраться в действиях нашего командования. По прибытию в ДНР нас прикомандировали к 200-й мотострелковой бригаде для выполнения штурмовых задач. Наш отряд понес потери, личный состав и бронетехнику. Нас отправляли и отправляют на выполнение задач без достоверных разведданных, артподготовки, без должной связи. Несмотря на это, личный состав выполнял все поставленные задачи, неся потери личного состава. На все конструктивные предложения личного состава руководство 200-й бригады и ВЧ 31985 не реагирует. Зам командира 4-й танковой Кантемировской дивизии ВЧ 31985 ставит невыполнимые задачи. Уважаемый Владимир Владимирович, просим вас разобраться в данной ситуации.
Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.